And I just want to say welcome everybody. Again, I'm Roman. This is Flutter Workshop Coding Roulette Edition. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to be providing some of the Codelabs. I am a mentor from the GDG Northeast, and I'm also a lead organizer for GDG Lawrence. Here also present, we have Kevin, which is we will be one of the facilitators, and Lionel, he's also one of the co-organizers at GDG Lawrence. So let me share my screen so I can share a couple of the announcements of the event as well. So I'm going to start sharing my screen in 1 second. And let me see if you guys can see it. As soon as I start sharing. There we go. I'm going to present, and then I hope you guys can see it. Great. Awesome. So this is going to be a very hands-on workshop in Flutter. We call it the Coding Roulette Edition. You're going to have a lot of fun. I promise. So again, like I said, I'm Roman Jaquez. I'm a GDG Northeast mentor. I'm also a Flutter developer. And here we are just ready to start with this workshop. Again, like I mentioned before, and we've mentioned a couple of times, this is a cross-region collaboration between GDG chapters. This is amazing because I love the fact that multiple GDGs get together and they do these type of events. So I'm from GDG Lawrence, the same as Kevin and Lionel. I believe in the audience is Kevin Moore from GDG Sonoma. Shout out to GDG Sonoma. Capital Region, GDG Capital Region, Linda, you rock. Again, congrats on your certification. GDG Berkeley in the house, Rachel Bruns. I think she's having a little bit of a tough issue connecting. I hope she can join later. From GDG Hudson, Julia, I saw you in the audience. Thank you again so much for joining. GDG San Jose, Deepa, I think she's also having a little bit of issue trying to join, but I hope she makes it. But yeah, GDG San Jose. GDG Santa Clara also is in the house. Kunal, thank you so much for joining. And last but not least, GDG Sacramento. Mag, my main man, Mag, from GDG Sacramento. And those of you from GDG Sacramento, thank you very much for joining. So we have like a very, a varied amount of people from all over the place. So totally appreciate it. Let's continue. Again, please, I humbly ask you to either follow me and subscribe to my YouTube channel where I post regularly about Flutter. I recently just posted a 12-episode series of Flutter in my YouTube channel, so you can take a look at that and just subscribe and follow on my YouTube channel. I also do like Twitch live streaming regularly. And I'm going to be doing also like another series in Flutter, like live streaming both on Twitch and YouTube. You can check out my portfolio site where I've developed a couple of apps in Flutter, a web. So I do a lot of various of technology. So you can check that in there. Or you can follow me on Twitter at Dear Coders. That's my handle. Follow me on Twitter at Dear Coders. And again, like for some of you that would like to continue joining more of these type of events, it would be great, again, for you to like follow me, and then you will get like updates on those type of events. So thank you again. Thank you, everybody, all the GDGs joining this type of event. So awesome. So I want to give an audience a little bit of a prompt to kind of do like a little bit of ice breaking. So I want to hear from the audience. Give me like a +1, +2, 3, or 4. After work, what do you do? Give me a +1 if you are working on a side project. That's kind of like your jam. +2 if you just say, oh, I don't do coding, I just relax after work. Again, anything that you're not doing besides joining events like this. For example, some people do a little bit of both. That's me right there. I do a number 3 as you go. So a lot of people are number 3 just like me. I try to keep like a good balance of like a side hustle, a side project in Flutter, or something that I love doing, and just relaxing, having like a good work-life balance with my family and also the things that I love. So I love the fact that a lot of people, Julia, I see you do a side project, you're a hustler. That's awesome. Again, or again, like Richmond, for example, like you do other things, you engage in a hobby or something like that. So whatever is what you do, totally respected, much power to you. But for example, me, I'm a number 3. I do like side projects, but I also like to relax and watch Netflix, stuff like that, binge watch stuff. That's my thing. But I love Flutter, and the reason why I'm here is because I love sharing knowledge with everybody. So thank you, everybody, for participating. Again, so how to participate in this Flutter workshop. So you have 2 options, actually 3 options. So option number 1, you will follow along with us. You could do the Codelabs, no installation required. You can just go to dartpad.dev. We're gonna be dropping here in the chat. We're gonna be dropping the links for those Codelabs. I have the Codelabs right here. I'm just gonna drop them in the chat if the team already hasn't done it. These are the two links. Actually, let me do it again because I think I just pasted them all together. So I have a series of Codelabs that are very custom made for this type of event. So this is Codelab number 1. I just dropped it in the chat. We're going to do Codelab number 1 and 2. So you can follow along. You can just open Dartpad, and then you can just follow along as we make the Codelab. And then you can even do it on your own. You know, no need to join the live sharing session. That's totally fine. But at least if you contribute and you're part of this experience, that's awesome. If we have a little bit more time, then we're going to be continuing doing Codelabs 3 and 4. So I made these Codelabs specifically with that intention so that we can complete them quickly, so that you can learn Flutter and you can maximize the amount of knowledge that you want to acquire from Flutter. So this is very beginner friendly, but even advanced and intermediate level Flutter developers can join this and you learn maybe something new from this. So I just dropped in there labs 1 and 2, which we will be doing in this session. And then if we have a chance, then we'll do the other labs. Then option number 2 is you sign up for the coding roulette. I'm gonna be dropping the chat in the chat the form for the coding roulette. So I would appreciate if those of you who want to participate in the coding roulette, and I'm going to explain it right now. So you join the coding roulette, you fill out that form that I just pasted the link on. So you just sign up your name and submit. If I just have your name in there, we're gonna create like a wheel of names. I'm gonna put everybody's name in there. And then if I pick your name at random, then I'm gonna send you a live sharing link, and then you're gonna be able to join my Visual Studio coding session. And then you can join the session and you can type, let's say, one line of the Codelab, and then I'm gonna be explaining that as well. So it's 2 options again. Remember, you either join the Codelabs and you do them on your own, but you follow along, or number 2, you join the coding roulette. And then we do it in a more interactive fashion. So if you want to join, again, it's completely optional. It's not forced. It's completely optional. You can just join that the form that I provided in there. I'm gonna be providing the links in here again for the team so that they can continuously drop it in here in the chat. But at least we're gonna start with Codelabs 1 and 2 for those of you who are doing dartpad.dev. Or if you want to join the coding roulette, please just drop your name in that form right there. I will pick your name, and then you just come over and do it. I'll show you exactly how we will do it. So let me continue along. So again, I just wanted to make everybody aware of the community guidelines. Let's be nice. Let's be respectful. Because we're all adults in here. I just wanted to appreciate that everybody treat everybody with respect. You know, you can chat in there. You can provide, we can riff and all that, but try to be respectful. Try to participate if you can. If not, it's okay. You can just ask questions. The team in the line will be the facilitators, and the hosts will be able to answer questions if possible. But try to keep a basic etiquette for online discussions. Like try to keep side conversations to a minimum, but let's try to stay engaged in this event. So I totally appreciate and everybody's participation. So truly appreciate that. Thank you so much, guys. So let's start coding. And now exactly I'm going to show you how we're going to proceed. So let me just move over, and this is exactly what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to you already have the 2 Codelabs. I'm going to start with 1 Codelab. If you're going to do option number 1, which is you don't want to participate in the coding roulette, you can just, for those of you of option 1, you can go to dartpad.dev, and if you open dartpad.dev, you're going to be here in this online IDE that you're able to develop Flutter on. So you develop Flutter right on the browser by just typing the Flutter code. So you're gonna follow Codelab number 1. This is Codelab number 1 right here that you see on the right hand side. We're all gonna be following Codelab number 1, whether you're doing in Dartpad or you're following along or you're signed up for the coding roulette. But let's say, and then we go through all the steps and everybody just goes and follows that. So everybody please be on Codelab number 1. I'm just going to copy it again. I'm going to drop it here. This is Codelab 1. This is the link right here. So everybody, let's be on Codelab 1 without that number 3 at the end. But let's all be like in step number 1, and that's where we're going to start. Now, I'm just going to give a few minutes for people to sign up again on the coding roulette. If you want to participate, I'll just pick your name. And this is exactly what we're going to be doing. Look, I'm going to show you here exactly how is it that I'm going to pick people's names and whatnot. Again, like I said, it's totally optional. You don't have to, if you just do like the wheel of names here. Let me show you. So this is exactly what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to be copying the names of the people who have signed up. I'm just going to spin the wheel. I'll give you access to the to my remote session, and then you can do that. But I'm going to start setting up the project for everybody, and then we're going to be doing this. So I'm going to be giving. Thank you. Yes. So thank you, John, and thank you for joining. So I'm going to start setting up the project before we start with the coding roulette. So at least you know how to proceed. So those of you or everybody, if you want to do, be on dartpad.dev. Like I said, it's a web-based Flutter IDE. And then let's start with the Codelab number 1. So Codelab number 1, we're going to be building a 3-page, very simple Flutter application. It's going to have a splash screen, it's going to have a landing page, and it's going to have a list page. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be following this workshop step by step. You can use Dartpad, or in my case, I'm going to be using Visual Studio, but just for the fact that I want people to join my session. So let's start. So I'm in Codelab number 1. And as you can see here, like I already tell you what is it that we're going to be building. So we're going to be learning how to build Flutter user interfaces with ease. We're going to be using common Flutter layout strategies, using core widgets. We're going to be learning how to create custom widgets in Flutter and achieve widget composition. We're going to be creating Dart models to mock up the data, import network images, like a bunch of those things that maybe in other courses they could give you. This you can consider like a crash course, but also is beginner friendly because we're going to be starting from scratch. Awesome. Okay, so you see that is step number 1. So let's all go to step number 2. And here is where I mentioned the prerequisites. So the prerequisites for this session is just having a computer with a browser, just an internet connection, and then you're going to be able to do it. So we're going to be using Dartpad for everybody. Or again, if you're joining the coding roulette, you're also going to be doing the browser, but I'll just send you a link for you to join, which we're going to be using live share. I'm going to show you in a minute. So let's go to the next step. Now we are on step 3. I show you here how to launch Dartpad. And again, as I showed you, you just open up a new browser tab. You go to dartpad.dev, and this is an online Flutter editor. So it's completely free. You can use it, and then you can follow along. This is how you do like a new pad. Let's say if you just came in right now, you just go to dartpad.dev. And if you want to create a new session, all you have to say is right here, like new pad. And then here it says create a new pad. You can click OK. And then here you select either you want to do Dart or Flutter. So you create Flutter, and then you hit create. And then now you get like some boilerplate code in there. And then here, this is kind of like the IDE that you can use on the browser. I would recommend everybody just deleting everything that is in there because we're going to start from scratch. So you're here in Dartpad with a blank screen. We're going to start from scratch. So that was this is step number 3, where I show you how to use how to launch Dartpad. Now let's start with the initial setup. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is learning how to create like the scaffolding for our application. Everybody knows that Flutter is Google's UI toolkit, proprietary UI toolkit for developing applications for mobile, web, embedded, desktop, all of those type of frameworks with a single code base. So at the same time that you're learning Flutter, you're going to be learning Dart. Dart is the language used in the Flutter framework. In this particular case, I'm going to show you how to build the application from scratch. And we're going to start creating the splash screen. So that's the first thing that you're going to start creating. So you see here kind of like how how you can make sense of a design that is given to you, and you say how we're going to create this a splash screen. So that's exactly what we're going to go over now. So for everybody, if you're following along and you have Dartpad open, so now we're going to start coding the application. So I just give you just a little bit of code for you to copy paste, but the rest of the code, you have to code it. So let's start. The first thing that you need to start your Flutter application is, of course, importing the frameworks and importing the libraries that you're going to be using. In our case, we're going to be using the Material library. Material is that design library that Flutter that is available by Google, that is provided into Flutter so that you can create applications, import a bunch of the things that are already done for you, and you can just reuse a bunch of the components in there. But it's a very comprehensive library. So I will just copy that. You can just copy paste all this code that it says like start coding the app, and then I'm going to explain it in a second. So right now here you see, and then I'm going to also zoom in a little bit so you can see the code. So you see right there that the first thing that we do is import the Material library and then the main method. Every Flutter application has to have a main method. The main method is the most important method in a Flutter application. So that's what kind of bootstraps the application. Next thing that you do is you have to call the run app method that is available by the framework. Flutter provides this method called run app. Run app is what actually instantiates the first component in the application, what they call widgets. So even the application as a whole is a widget also. So Flutter, everything in Flutter is a widget. Even the whole application is a widget. So I will instruct you exactly. Yeah. So John, that's exactly what I did. So it took me a lot of time to do that, but it's just because I took a lot of Ramses. I'm gonna go to your question right now, but John, a lot of people like gave me that feedback, like, oh, every code lab that I do is just copy paste. I don't learn anything. In this case, you gotta develop your Flutter muscle, but it's this muscle that you have to actually develop. So for learning Flutter, you type things over and over. That's how you develop your Flutter muscle. So thank you for noticing that. Ramses, a widget in Flutter is any single like entity that either renders something on the screen or makes part of the whole application. For example, buttons, text widgets, labels, checkboxes, radio buttons, everything is a widget. If you want to create your own widget, you can also make it like a widget. Like you can create widgets out of other widgets. A page is a widget. The whole application is a widget. You can consider anything that can render on the screen a widget, pretty much. So thank you for your question. So now I'm going to continue and I will proceed with adding the run app. Like I mentioned, the run app is the method provided by the framework to launch the first widget, which is the Material app. Every application, every Flutter application has to have a Material app widget. Remember, everything is a widget, even the application. So then if you see here, Material app is a widget. So I say run app, the Material app widget. That what it does is it mounts the widget as the root of the whole application structure. So you start with the Material app. Then there's a flag here that just disables like a little sash where you're debugging. You can just set it to false. And then the Material app has to have a home. The home will be like the first screen that you see in your application. In this case, I'm setting it to splash page. Right now you see an error because we haven't created that. But remember, exactly. Thank you, Danny. Always start with the Material app. That's exactly. So the splash page, actually, Danny, thank you again for joining. I truly appreciate you making time even for this session as well. So totally appreciate it. Danny Thompson, an amazing community lead. Let's continue. So the Material app has to have a home because it's the first screen that you actually see. And then I haven't created it yet. That's why I have it there. So now the first thing that you need to do is actually create that splash page. Ramses, like you mentioned, everything is a widget, even pages. So I create a page as a custom widget. Let's continue down the code lab. So if you're in we're now down to step number 5. We're gonna be creating now the page that will represent the splash page. Everything in Flutter is a widget, even like pages, cards, everything is a widget. So what I'm going to be creating is a custom widget that will represent the page. So if you're in step number 4, you will see that I can create my custom page. And this is exactly how I'm going to do it. Now look at this. Every time you see one of those images that had the little spinning in there, that means I'm gonna hit the spinning wheel. But right now I'm gonna give you a pass and I'm gonna do it myself so you guys can see it. So the first thing that you do now is you create the splash page custom widget. The way that you create custom widgets in Flutter, you create a class. You call it anything you want. I'm gonna call it splash page. And then you have to extend either stateless or stateful widget. In this case, I'm gonna extend stateless widget. The difference between stateless widget and stateful widgets is how you maintain state. If you wanna maintain state, you create a stateful widget. If you just wanna render on the screen something, you create a stateless widget. In this particular case, I'm creating a stateless widget. Every widget has to have a build method. That's the most important method on a Flutter widget is the build method, because the framework, when it's trying to paint something on the screen, it needs to look at the build method. What is it that you have in there? And then it renders it accordingly to what you build in that build method. So you first override the build method, and every build method is exactly how you see it there. It has to return a widget. It has to be called build, and then you inject a build context. A build context in widget in Flutter is a special handle that tells you, like gives you a handle of the location of your widget in the whole hierarchy. Like you can actually pull stuff from parents, from like the whole hierarchy. That is the build context. So every build method in any custom widget needs to have a build context. So you just pass it the context, whether you need it or not, but at least you have to provide it. And then what you return out of the build method is what gets painted on the screen. In this case, I'm just gonna return, let's say in this particular case, a stack. A stack, as you may have guessed, is just another one of those type of widgets that lay out its children in a layered fashion. So you see it as a stack is like one on top of each other. So what I'm gonna be doing now, you see, if you're in Dartpad, you see how cool, and then if you wanna test what you've built, all you have to hit here is just run. And then if you run, of course, nothing will be seen because the stack is just an empty, one of those container widgets that doesn't have anything. But now let's start seeing stuff on the screen, and I'm gonna pull somebody out of the code roulette. So please, let's also, I'm gonna pull somebody out of the code roulette. So I'm just gonna go right now and look at the code roulette, see who has joined. And then I'm gonna just pick somebody, and then somebody will come up and now do something for me. So I'm just gonna see over here. I see a couple of people already joined. I have 11 people who already signed up. So thank you very much again for participating. I'm gonna copy those 11 people. I'm gonna drop it here in the wheel of names. So good luck to all of y'all. Awesome. So look at this. I'm gonna spin the wheel, and then I'm gonna do this. Spin. Now let's see who's gonna come up and do it. Now I'm gonna share the pressure with you guys. James, so you signed up. Are you a pass, or you want to come up? James, you wanna do it? I'll actually give you the control exactly how if you use okay, since I haven't, okay, I'm gonna show you. So check this out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be here on my main application, right? And I'm even actually debugging it. I'm gonna be debugging this application. Let me just move this aside, but I'm gonna be debugging this application on a physical device as well. So let me show you. So this is the application. Yes, exactly. I'm gonna explain the concept. So the concept is, if you sign up for the code roulette, I'm gonna put your name in the list. Whenever you see this little spinning wheel on each one of these blocks of code, that means I'm gonna spin the wheel. I'll pick somebody from the wheel of names, and then I'm just gonna give you access to my Visual Studio Code. Let me just show you real quick. So right here in the live share, I'm gonna send a link specifically. Oh, the context where you pass to the, oh, sorry. So the context, the build context, I'm sorry. So yeah, so let me explain it to you again. So the build context is that it's a special object that Flutter, every Flutter widget requires, because the context gives you a lot of information on your location on the widget tree. And you can also pull information from ancestor widgets. So it kind of gives you like a reference of where you are in your widget tree. So that is what the build context provides you. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. I thought you meant like the wheel of names. So now what I'm gonna do is, let's say this is the application. I can run it here. Let's say I'm gonna run it on an emulator, and then you're gonna see it. So James, I'm gonna give you control of my session. This is how it goes. So I open up a live share session. And those of you who even want to do like code collaboration with your friends or whatnot, you can actually do the same thing as well. And check this out. I have a live share session, which I'm going to be dropping in the chat. Even if you want to join, if you don't want to participate, you can even look at my code. So I just dropped that link in there. James, if you click it, you will see. Oh, they thought that the roulette was for prizes? No prizes this time. Actually, the price of knowledge. You can't get a better price than that. So awesome. So definitely, yeah. So yeah, let me show you. This is the device where I'm going to be testing the application. So yeah, nothing is shown right now, but now I will see when let's say James joins the link. See, I will accept everybody. I will see James already. Like I think you can either do it like as an anonymous or as a guest. I have to see whenever you join the live session, make sure that you join it with your name as an anonymous. And then if I see your name, for example, look at El Sanusi, I can just select him and he can just come on, and then I will be able to allow him to do the code. That's right, Julian. That's right. Can be a better price than that. So awesome. You see, a lot of people are joining. Masiev, thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining. You see, like now a lot of people can join. They can see the code on the web browser, and now I can just give anybody permission, and then you can join and do the code. So you don't have to do, if you want to do it, don't do the Visual Studio plugin. Just close Visual Studio and go for the web version. So if you do this, let's say in the browser, and then you grab the link again, don't do the Visual Studio, just do the web version. If you want to do it, for example, you can cancel on this and just do the live share session. But if you want to do the Visual Studio Code, you could do that too. That's totally fine. But you can just click here where it says join the live share session. So let's try. So if I see your name, when I see your name, James, I'm going to give you access. How about that? Should I not Visual Studio share? You don't share on your end. All you have to do is just join my session. So that's why I said that it was better that you did like the web version. How about if I let you rejoin? And then I'll do this one. I'll let you rejoin, and then you join via the web base. So that way I can I can continue along, and then you can join in the next one. How does that sound? Okay, can you see it, James? I don't see you here in the participant list. I should be able to see you there, and then I give you access. It's trying to load. Okay, so let me proceed, and then I'll do that. So if either some of you like want to join last minute, let me know. I can just add you to the list. Awesome. So let's continue. So let's say it's still in step number 4. Remember, we're creating the splash page. So the splash page is just like any regular custom widget, and then we should be able to see it here in my emulator. So if you continue, now I want to be able to add stuff to the stack. So remember, a stack is just a widget that allows you to add. It's a spinning circle in Live Studio. So it may take a little bit, but then as soon as it loads, I should be able to see you in there and then allow you. If you join as an anonymous, then you're gonna have to reload it again and then try to add your name, and then I will let you in. Otherwise, then I wouldn't know which one is you. But it's okay. You can try it again, and you should be able to do it. So I see that a lot of people are joining. Thank you. So you can even see my code. Totally fine. So let's continue. So now to the stack widget, I'm going to be adding children. So a stack is a widget that takes more than one child. So I'm just going to do children. And if you see it right there, you can see it in the code. I'm going to zoom in a little more. And then here, the stack has a children property that allows you to add more than one child to that widget. So what do I do in this children? I can add other widgets. I'm going to add a container widget, as you see in step right there in this step. Linda, I see you joining. You can just see the code. That's totally fine. You don't have to join. That's totally fine. I'm going to add a container, and then this container is a widget that will cover the whole stack. The stack is empty until you add children. So now the container can take a color. So I'm going to add a color background to that container. And if you see here in the code, I provided a color that you can use for your application, that you can use it throughout. So I'm just gonna copy that color and I'm just gonna paste it right up here. Here you can add like all the like static variables and stuff like that. Yes, exactly. You just need to look at the right bottom of that of the sharing, and then you can put like your name. Thank you, Linda, for that explanation. So yeah, you can just add the color in there, and then you can share it throughout your application. You can do that, or you can even put it in a utils class, whatever you want to do. So here I'm gonna add in the container. I'm gonna have the color. So the color of that container will be that main theme color. So main theme color is that. So if I save it and then I just reload my application, you see now that the background information, the background color gets shown in the stack. So we're starting with that. Perfect. So now I have a stack with a container with the main theme color. Let's proceed with the next one. Now I need somebody to help me add the icon that will look in the middle, like in the design. Remember the design, it has like an icon in the middle. So I'm gonna pick somebody from the list. Exactly, yeah, Mohammed, you can use that. The main color, I made it like bluish, exactly. I made it like that. You can change anything. You can call it like red or whatever you want. You can change any color. So the background color, I made it like purplish, kind of bluish, exactly. And then here you add the container and you change the color. I'm gonna pick somebody from the list. So let's see who's gonna help me out here. So I'm gonna spin the list. And let me see. If you just joined, let me know. I can just grab you and add. Camilo, I see you got added. I'm gonna add you in the list also. Sarah, if you're in the list, I'm gonna add you. I'm gonna give you access right now. So let's see if Sarah is connected. Sarah, I don't see you connected, so I can spin the wheel again, and then until I see you connected. So let's spin it again. And let's see who's in. David, let's see if David is in. I see a Davis. What is it? Oh, I need to add you again, James. Okay, got it. So if I'll add you again. So to this, no, I don't have to. So this is you, James. So if you want, do you want to try now? If you get added, I'll just pick your name from the list. Ramses, yes, global variables are bad practice, but remember, this is Visual Studio. I'm sorry. This is we're doing in Dartpad. Dartpad only gives you a single file. So of course, the best practice is actually creating like a utilities class, and then you put your classes in there, or you can create like variables like that. But I'm just creating a global just so that just for the purpose of this tutorial. But that's a very good point. Of course, you should follow like the best practice, of course. Thank you. Very good for it. Davis, you're in VS Code. Let's go. So I think I picked you. No, John Davis. That's a different one. Sorry about that, John. So I can add you if you want. John Davis. And then let me spin it again and let's see if somebody else is going to help me with the alignment. So I'm going to do that. Siva, let's see if Siva is in. I don't see Siva in the list. Oh, I drop you from the list, you say? That's totally fine. I mean, you can continue following along on the I'm sorry, you can continue following along on the Codelab. So let me spin the wheel again. Let me see if anybody, Masiev, I see you. I'm going to add you in a minute. Can anybody help Siva? Are you stuck on this, or you're stuck on the, oh, you were not able to join the live session? I mean, you can try. I can even, so for example, I see, who did it? Adriano. Let's see if Adriano is in. Adriano, you're in. I'll give you now read-write access, and let me know if you're able to see the code. I gave you read-write access. David, I can try to give you access, but now let's see if Adriano is there. So Adriano, all you have to do is right here inside of, right under the container, we need to add an align widget, like you see in the Codelab, an align widget with an alignment center, and inside a child icon widget. So what we're doing here is creating one of those widgets, one of those alignment widgets called align, and then you can use it like inside a stack to align and position your elements inside of a stack. You can align it to the center. You can align it to the bottom. Nino, you say for yes, GS, yeah, that is correct. We will be able to get the recording this later. That is correct. So look at what Adriano is doing. So Adriano is actually adding an align widget. So the align widget would allow you to align a widget anywhere inside of the stack. Sorry about that. He's adding now the alignment center. You have a bunch of other options of aligning center, aligning bottom. Here now we're inside of that align widget. Now you can add any type of widget, and any inside of the line will be affected by it. So that's pretty cool. So the alignment widget will provide the alignment, while the icon widget will reflect the icon being shown. Align, you can do center, but center, for example, let's say I'm just trying to explain, for example, for the stack widget, you can use a center widget on the stack, but align widget is more in tune for when you want to truly position it in multiple coordinates within your stack. But that's a very good point, John. You can use a center if you want, if you just want to center it. But in my particular case, I wanted to use a couple of align widgets because you could do align top, align bottom, and all that. So now, so let me see. So Adriano just finished that. So now I'm going to bring it back to read only. Please, let's give it a +1 to Adriano. He was able to complete this piece. Now what I'm going to do is save and reload. And now check this out. So that's exactly what Adriano did. So thank you, Adriano, for joining. Thank you for participating. That's exactly what I wanted to achieve in this workshop. I truly apologize for those of you who were having issues trying to connect into the join session. But again, you can continue doing it on your own in Dartpad following the code lab. So thank you, Adriano, for creating this. So you see, now you're able to create an align widget, align center, which again, John, is the same as you doing as a center widget. That's the good thing about Flutter, that it gives you all those options. So let's continue right along. The next one, we're going to do another align widget, because what I want to do is actually add a linear progress indicator, and I want to add it at the bottom of the screen. So you see, that's why I cannot just use like a center. I have to use now an align widget that will align something at the bottom of the screen. What is it that I want to align? A linear progress indicator. So let's try that. I'm gonna, Masiev, I saw you joining. I'm going to add you to the list, and then I'm gonna spin the wheel again. Let's see who would love to contribute again. I will add you again. I will actually grab your whole name in here. So Siva, are you in? Let me take a look. Let's see if Siva is. I don't see you unless you're probably one of these like guest users. So I may not see you in there. So unless you put like the correct name, or maybe you can try to join again so I can see like the your name in there. David, I saw you joining. I saw another guest. I'm gonna spin the wheel again, and then we'll proceed. Unless I see in there, I won't be able to add you. There you go. Nino, I see you. I see you joining now. And there you go. So, oh, I thought it was you. So Siva, again, Siva came up again. Let me see whether you're in or not. Okay, not yet. Let's spin it again. Again, you can repeat. That's the thing. Like Adriano can come back again and continue doing it. Deepa, are you in? Deepa is not in, but that's okay. Unless you want to join again, but I don't see you in there. I'm going to try spinning it again. If not, I'll continue, and then I'll just give someone else a chance. So, Masiek, I see you there. Are you connected? Yes, you are. So now I'm going to give you read-write privileges. And now what I want you to do is add another align widget right in here, exactly right there. I'm just going to scroll it over. So what Masiej is doing is creating an align widget, and he's going to be adding a linear progress indicator. A linear progress indicator is one of those components that you can get out of the material library, and it looks like a progress line, but it will just be like a single line, just like spinning constantly. So if you see in there, it's going to be aligned at the bottom center. Ramses, you have a question in there. Should we align the widget be in the align widget be inside a container widget? No, the align widget has to be the direct child of a stack widget. It has to be the direct child of a stack widget. Otherwise, it doesn't have any effect. Very good question. What Maciej is doing, he's adding a linear progress indicator, and he's just going to show like a line, just like a progress in there. That's it. He's going to give it a color white because the progress indicator, that's how you provide it via a value color. So value color is how you do a progress indicator. That's how you provide the colors to it. So he's adding always stopped animation and then providing a color. That's how you do it. And then you provide a color and then we give it an opacity of like 0.4, like 40% opacity to that leader because we want to make it like a little bit faded, right? So that's exactly what he's doing. So here he's adding, again, like I said, I'm going to repeat, an align widget, align at the bottom center with a linear progress indicator, and then we'll see it as soon as he finishes. So he's adding a color white with the opacity 0.4. Perfect. So he's done with that. I'm going to, again, take him out of the, I think I took you out. I should have just done the, do you mind joining it again, Maciej? I should have just taken out the read-only privileges for you. But let's give it a +1 on Maciej for doing this for us. I'm going to save it now. I'm going to reload, and now you will see, if you notice at the bottom, there is a progress indicator. You can hardly see it, but it's there. It's just like spinning, but actually just like sliding like that. So it's pretty cool. So now we just created a very simple splash screen. And I was not the only one who coded it. I saw Adriano coding. I saw Maciej coding. So I hope that a lot more people are doing. So Siva, I saw you that you got at it again. Sorry about that. Now let's proceed with the next step. So if you're all the way up to this point, you should be able to see the same thing in Dartpad. If I just copy this and put it on Dartpad, where's my Dartpad session? I think I just moved it over. Yeah, right here. I can just drop it in Dartpad. If you guys are just following along, and if you run whatever we have up to this point, you should get exactly the same output. So that's exactly the same that I'm saying. Like, you either join our session or you Dartpad, you should be able to get this. Let's continue. So we're going to go to the next step. And then we're going to create a dummy landing page, because we're going to do is create a dummy landing page, because the splash screen is going to spend like, we're going to make it so that it takes 2 seconds, and then it's going to take you to the next screen. Let's try to do that. So let's spin the wheel. Let's see who's going to help us out creating the list page. So I'm going to spin the wheel. The list page, again, will be just another widget, and we'll create it as a stateless widget. So David, I'm going to bring you up now. I think I saw you there. Here we go. I'm going to make you read and write. And now you come on, and what you're going to do right underneath it, exactly, you're going to be creating a list page widget. Remember, everything in Flutter is a widget, including pages. So what David is going to do right now is he's going to create a very custom widget, and that's going to be representing a separate page on our application. This page is just going to have a simple hello world for. Are you able to, David, are you able to, oh, a friend wants a link to the Dartpad. I can definitely provide the Dartpad as well. But let's finish this right now. So, but James, you can send the Codelabs to your friends, and even tell them about Dartpad, that they should be able to even follow along or even do it on their own as well. So look what David is doing. So David is going to be creating a dummy landing page. So after the splash screen, we're just going to go to this dummy page. We're going to take like a couple of seconds, and we're going to do awesome. You can even, thank you, David. You can actually do that. So David actually was clever enough to use the Flutter snippets. That makes you very productive as well. So David is creating a, you can call it list view, you can call it anything, but I called it list page, but whatever you want to do. If you call it list page, it's going to be more aligned with a, thank you, perfect. So there you go. So we're going to be creating a very custom widget, which is a list page. A splash screen is going to take 2 seconds loading, and then it's going to navigate us to this new page. So now what David is doing is in the build method. Remember, the build method is the most important method in a widget, and he's going to be returning a scaffold. a scaffold is one of those special widgets in Flutter that gives you like again a scaffold. It allows you to add like a bottom bar, like a header bar, a drawer. It kind of gives you like a very good starting point for a page. And then inside of the scaffold, there's a special property called body. That's exactly what David is typing. So he's going to be creating a center widget. John, here it is. So the center widget, you can just use it, for example, to center widgets in your structure. Now, inside of the center widget, you can add any widgets, and any widget will be applied at the center. So what he's doing, he's going to be adding a child to the center widget, and he's going to be adding a text widget. A text widget is again just what it is just a text. So we're just going to add simple data in there. You can just type anything you want at this point, David. I think at this point, anything that you can type in there would be good. You can even say, exactly. Thank you. Perfect. Just watch what you type. That's all I can say. I'm live. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. So I'm going to, now that I see that you completed that task, I'm going to just put you back in read only. Please, everyone, let's give a round of applause to David. David, thank you so much for participating. +1 for David. What David just created was just a dummy page with the content in there. And now you see that he created a scaffold. Now let's see how that looks. So now I'm going to go to the next step. And now let's see how that looks. I'm going to show you if you want to test this and you want to see what it looks, all I can do here is, for example, like test it here, like plugging it instead of plugging the splash page, I'm going to be plugging that list page that David created. So if I say list page, and then I save and reload, you will see now that it will reload over here. Let me just save it again. I'll do a hot reload. I'm sorry. And then now you see what David created. It says, I'm live awesome. It's just a scaffold page called list page with a text in the middle. That's it. Simple as that. You're saying, are you allowed to have a widget in a widget without a child, property? It may break on you. There are some widgets that are only single child widgets that only can contain a single child. If you leave it empty, it may blow up on you. There are widgets that don't take any widgets. There are widgets that take one or take many widgets. So it's always good to either put like something dummy, like an empty container or something like that. But there are widgets that, again, that you can just leave it empty and nothing would happen. But in this particular case, when it takes a single child, it will actually require it for you. There are widgets that don't take they're like childless widgets also. So you have like multiple variations of those type of widgets. So let's proceed. So you have to read the Flutter, exactly. So, you can take a look at that, but pretty much you have widgets with a child, widgets with children, or childless widgets. Pretty much that's what you have in here. So now I'm going to bring it right back again to the splash page, and I'm going to reload. And now the next step in the application, it says that we're going to simulate a delay on the splash page. Right now you see that the splash page is just like fixed there. But what we want to do now is like simulate a 2-second delay and then proceed and do a navigation. So who's going to help me out with that? I'm going to, Kunal, I see you that you joined. I'm going to add you to the list right now. And then I'm going to spin the wheel and let's see if you're going to help me out. So let's see who's going to be next in adding that simulated delay in Flutter. Siva, you're up. Let me see if you're in here. I don't see you in there unless maybe like live share is limited to a certain number of people. I don't see that many people in here, but that's okay. I'm gonna just spin it again and see if anybody, if anybody else is in here. Adriano, are you up again to do something? I'm gonna give you again read write. Again, remember, you can even come again twice. So that's exactly the beauty of this. So Adriano, now he's going to, in the splash page, inside of the build method, he's going to introduce something called future. Futures in Flutter represent, if you're familiar with HTML and JavaScript, you know about like promises, or if you know about Angular, like observables. So it's actually an object that represents an operation that will be executed in the future. So future, exactly what it does, he's going to be creating, he's going to be using one of those utilities out of the future class called delayed. And then what this is, all this is going to do is going to be delaying the execution of the widget. Now we're going to wait 2 seconds on that delay. Then after the 2 seconds, then we're going to perform an action. So if you see the code, he's typing future.delayed. What this is saying is just wait 2 seconds. You provide the duration as an object. So you say duration, and then you pass it in seconds. You give it a callback. That means after the 2 seconds, I'm going to call this callback. And then whatever you put in that callback, it will be executed. What he's typing right now, he's saying navigator.offContext. That means the navigator object is also another provision from Flutter that gives you capabilities of navigating between pages. So the navigator.off, and then you pass the context. Remember when I mentioned the context before? The context, now Adriano is able to pull the context out of the Flutter application, which is provided via the context, and then he gets an instance of the navigator. Now he uses that navigator to perform a navigation to another page. So if you see it as a recap, to the navigator, you push a material page route. A material page route is another object in Flutter that allows you to wrap a page or a widget that will represent like a page that you want to see. And then what it does, all it does is just adds another page stack. You can consider like Flutter being like the navigator stack in Flutter, like a bunch of things, again, like in a stack. So first you have the splash page, and then on the stack, we'll push another page. So exactly what Adriano just did in there, all he needs to do is just add the quote in there, and I think we should be good. Let me see what you're missing in here. I think you should be good in there. This is the closing on the push. This is okay. See, when you add the arrow function, that means then you don't add like a, let's say like a semicolon. If you add the arrow function, if you don't add the arrow function, then you can add the semicolon. But you could have done it like that as well. So either way, it would have worked. So thank you, Adriano. I'm gonna put you back again into read only. And again, another +1 for Adriano. He's actually coded 2 widgets in this application. Let me now save this for you. And now I'm going to rerun the application, and let's see what we have so far. So what we have so far, we run the application, we do a hot restart. I'm gonna do a hot restart on the application. And now you will see that the application, you will see first the splash page. We're gonna wait 2 seconds, and then it's gonna navigate us exactly what we're doing here to the list page. So that's exactly what we're doing right here. If you see it right here as a recap, we call the future.delayed in Flutter, wait 2 seconds, navigate using the navigator.off, wrap our page inside the material page route, and then we push that page in there. Let me kill it again, and then I'm going to start it again. So I'll do Flutter run. Nino says, can I view the whole global navigation stack? Like what elements are already pushed? That is correct. You can actually do that. Flutter allows you to even see the whole tree as it is being built. I'm going to show you one provision that you can even see here, like on my application. There's a way that you can even see like the outline. For example, like as it is being rendered, you can see it in the developer tools of Flutter. But even here, you can start seeing kind of like how your structure is being built. But you can see the global navigation. Oh, you mean the global navigation stack? I'm sorry. So the global navigation stack, you can actually debug it, and you can see how you can see all the pages in the navigation stack. Sorry, I thought you meant like the widget structure as a stack. Sorry about that. But yes, you can definitely debug into it, and you can see that. Let's bring it back again. It's going to be loading now. So now let's see what Adriano did. So he did the splash page, 2 seconds, and then the application. You see? Very simple. So let me just reload it again so you can see it. It shows the splash screen, 2 seconds, and then the dummy page. Perfect. Now give yourself a round of applause, because this was actually the last step in this code lab. So thank you so much for doing this. A lot of people or you in there for joining. Thank you so much for participating. And now we can proceed to lab number 2. But if you saw, like you can, let's say if you want to catch up, you can see the whole code that I provided at the end of the code lab. You can look at the complete code. In the wrap up here, again, this is just giving you the link to the next Colab. In the step number 9, in the wrap up, I give you the step to the next Colab that we're going to be doing now. But again, you can even take a pause right now. You can follow me on Twitter. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel in there, or you can even connect with me on LinkedIn and stuff. So how's everybody doing? Should we go to the next code lab? How's everybody doing on the next code lab? Thumbs up, plus ones if you guys want to continue. Awesome. Let's continue. I see yes from a lot of people. Perfect. So let's go to the next code lab. And then the next code lab now is actually building a little bit on this list view. So we're going to be creating a list view in Flutter. Remember, everything in Flutter is a widget. All of those things that you're going to be seeing in there, yes, you can actually do, yes, you can format your document. Yeah, you can actually do that, Adriano, definitely. You can run format document without putting the comma for a better indentation. Definitely, you can do that. And I can even do this. So, for example, like here, you can do like format document, and then it just formats the whole thing. I can even like change the settings so that every time I save it formats, we can even do that as well. So let's continue. We're going to be building now these all as custom widgets. You see that card right there that shows like the little attraction? That also we're going to be creating as a custom widget. John, you say you don't get the splash screen. Make sure that you, again, go back to the, not at all. Okay, so let's, you can even go back again to the previous code lab, the code lab number 1. Make sure that you can even copy the complete code, because I trust that you're looking at my VS Code session. Oh, my VS Code session, you can actually copy it. Look, check this out. If I reload, it just takes like really fast. Like see it just goes, it does 2 seconds, and then it goes right in there into the next one. It could be that it may take a little bit, but please feel free to grab the complete code from step number 10, and then you can grab the whole code. For example, look, you can just grab the whole code from here. You can copy it in Dartpad. Let's take a look in Dartpad for those of you who are doing Dartpad, and then I'm just gonna hit run, and then you will see the splash screen just for a little bit, and then you see it slide. So something like that. So you see it's the same code that is in there. So feel free to copy it. So let's continue.
Hey, Roman, I noticed that in Dartpad it doesn't show the scaffolding.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Dartpad, when you run the application, it doesn't show the scaffold.
If you copy the latest code, I just copy pasted it in here.
No, it doesn't show on your too. See that?
But did you? I'm copying the last in the lab number 1, the last.
Yep. So I understand that. So I'm saying that the UI did not render the scaffolding at the bottom.
No. If the scaffold isn't visible because you haven't added anything yet, the scaffold only has the container. So you should only see the text. Is that what you're saying? Yeah,
I'm seeing differently on when you're running on the simulator.
Interesting, because look, this is Dartpad, this is the emulator, and this is exactly what we just did. You see, this thing, you should not see this. This is my phone.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, you don't see that. That's the phone. And you convert to VS Code version. Oh, I see. Maybe John, you might be having some issues. Kevin, Lionel, you might mind helping maybe John. I think he may be having some issues with his VS Code version problem. But thank you anyway, John, for bringing it up. Let's go to the next code lab, and then we're going to proceed now creating the list view. So there you go. So the prerequisites are the same, and we're going to be continuing that. So now this is how to create the list page. So the list page will contain like an app bar, a list view. We're going to be able to scroll through those cards. Those attraction cards, it's not like a widget that you can download. We're going to be creating that from scratch. So let's proceed so I can show you how to build that. So let's go immediately to step number 4, and let's set up the app bar on this widget. So what I'm going to be doing just is, since we're going to be only focused on we're only going to be focused right now on the list page, on the list view page, I'm just going to point the application to the list page so that we always land in there. So here I'm just going to say list page, and now we're just going to be focused on the list page. So if I just reload in here, we should only be seeing the list page. So now in the list page, we're going to be adding the application bar. An application bar is, again, what you can see like at the top of the bar. So this is given to you as part of the scaffold. Like it gives you that ability to create an app bar, and then you will see it at the top. Let's spin the wheel. Let's see who wants to participate. I'm going to spin the wheel, and let's see who wants to add the app bar to the widget scaffold. So I see Sarah. Let's see if Sarah is connected in the live share. Sarah, I don't see you there. I'll try to spin it again. It may be that, I don't know, I think it's maybe that live share might have like a limited number of users, because I don't see a lot of people in there. Siva, I think you're very famous. You've been picked every time, but I don't see you still in the. Sure, Christopher, thank you so much for joining. Awesome. Let's try it again. And then I see John. Let's see John Davis. John, do I see you here? I don't see you here. I see like this guest user. I would love to remove this guest user. Do you mind rejoining again and adding your name so that way I can? Yeah, I know. Exactly. Oh, which one is you? Nino, I see you here. But this is John Davis. Oh, as Davis. Oh, that was, you say that was you? Let me see. Okay. This is you. Oh, I'm like, okay, John, thank you. Sorry about that. Let me give you read-write permission. And now I want you to help me with the app bar on the scaffold. So let me know if you're able to now type in there. So the app bar is part of the scaffold. It's another widget. So the app bar just gives you the capability to add like a title, like the hamburger menu, like some menu options in the scaffold, but it's only available, it gives you availability when you have the scaffold. So John Davis, let me know if you're able to type and you're able to access which step in the lab. Exactly what we're looking right now, step number 4. The beginning of step number 4, where it says set up the app bar. Build the app bar with the background color. You will see now that the app bar, again, is going to be showing at the top, but we want to add, let's say, like some content to it. So we're going to say it's going to be transparent. It's going to have like a theme. Let me see. I think yes, actually, I think I skipped just one step, but I'll let you build you want to find you're still on the last one. That's totally fine. You can even join, again, like when you do this, you don't have to be specifically doing both things at the same time. But again, much power to you if you want to do that. Step number 4, exactly right here. Like step number 4 on the Codelab number 2. Remember, we are in Codelab 2. Let me drop it in here. Exactly. And then you just go to step number 4. So here in the scaffold, I'm going to add, let's say, like a background color, exactly what it is in the Codelab. And then I'm going to add the main theme color. Now, if I save, you will see that if I reload, now the background of the application, you will see it change as soon as I reload again, of course. You will see now that we will add the scaffold. So let me see. I think you're added there. Perfect. I think you're there. Let's go. Davis, John, I see you. And then let's go to the, let me see. I'm going to scroll you to where you need to be right here. So in the list page inside of the scaffold, we are on step 4. So you're going to be building the app bar. You see that the app bar is part of the scaffold. And then you can just add that app bar widget in there. I'll just do rebuild in here. Let me know if you're able to type. Exactly. I see you. Okay. I see. Okay, perfect. So inside of the scaffold, exactly. Perfect. So inside of the scaffold, just go inside of the scaffold. And then in the scaffold, you create the app bar. The app bar, like I mentioned, is just one of those other widgets that you can do it like that. That's fine. I can help you out. At least if you can type that piece, I will let you do it. Perfect. You get the app bar, then you create an app bar widget. Perfect. And then you see app bar widget has a background color, so we want to make it transparent. Icon theme. Icon theme means all the things and all the widgets that are part of the app bar will inherit that color. So you have to provide it as a icon theme data object. So it has a property called icon theme. That means we're going to change the colors of the icons in the app bar. The next property that John is going to do is says elevation. Elevation is what gives you like that depth on the app bar that like gives you like the shadow. If you say elevation 0, it just removes the back, the like the shadow pretty much. Perfect. That's exactly what we needed. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, John. You actually, yeah, you actually even went beyond. So I'm gonna give you again read-only capabilities. Everyone, please give a round of applause for John. Thank you so much, John, for providing this. Yes. Oh, the theme. So he provided the, for example, the icon theme data. You don't have to provide it at the root. You can even provide it like at like you can provide it like at that level. Like here, I provided the main theme color, and then the icon theme data is just part of the like the exactly like the app bar. I'm gonna save and I'm going to reload. And you will see that still you don't see anything because we haven't added anything to it. But at least John set us up so that we can add all the other things to the app bar. Let's continue. So now let's add a title icon. Who wants to help me out adding a title icon? You see that some app bars just have like a word, like a title and word, like a word, but because everything is a widget, you can add anything as the title of the app bar. In this case, we want to add the title, but we want to add it as an icon. So who wants to help me out adding an icon to the title of the app bar? So let's see, who is it? So I see Joshua. Let's see if Joshua is online. I don't see it online, so I'm gonna skip that and I'm gonna try it again. John, I think you landed again. You want to do it or you want to skip? What do you want to do? You want to go again? I'll give you make read only again. You're lucky. You're lucky because you landed again. Sorry about that. So yeah, so now that I should have just let you continue typing because you were right there anyway. So now for the app bar again, because everything is a widget and Flutter allows you to paint every pixel on the screen. You can like compose your widgets in any way you want, and how flexible it is. You can actually add anything to as the child of another widget. Like gives you that flexibility. So now John is gonna add as the title of the app bar, instead like what regular people do, like adding a text widget, he's gonna be adding an icon widget. And again, an icon widget is just gonna show you like an icon up there, and then that's it. So now that's what John is gonna do right now. So John is just gonna add the title property of the app bar, and he's gonna make an icon widget out of that. So let's see when he does it now. And again, icon. Please also make sure that when you're, let's say, building your application, try to use the material icons from Flutter. Is very. Oh, you still read only? Sorry about that. I told you. Try now. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, John. Yes. So make sure that you use the material icons from Flutter. Actually from Google in general, but the material icons that Flutter does is actually the global library from Google. And then you can add like a very high quality vector graphics for your material icons. Let me show you. So if you do material icons from Google, you go to this website, and then here it shows you all the icons that you can include in your application, and then you can just use them for free. So please make sure to leverage that in your applications. Sorry about that. Did I mess you up, David? I'm sorry. I'll undo it for you. I think, let me undo it for you so that you can do it again. Sorry about that. So let me set you up again. So right here in the list page, right? So you're here in the background. Sorry about that. So now try it again. So here in the app bar, you're going to add the title right here where my cursor is exactly. So yeah, so just do the title exactly. Add the title. You're adding body. Can you add the title of the icon? You see my step. Actually, I should have then mentioned the step. Sorry about that. So in the step that you did, the step below where it says adding title icon, let's add the title icon. We're not step 5 yet. We're still on step 4, but like in the title icon piece. So is that piece that says title, and then you add an icon as a title. So I'm gonna set you up right there. Still in step 4. Yeah, it's still in step 4. Thank you. So again, like I said, you're going to add an icon as the title of the app bar, and then we're going to see like an icon at the top. Perfect. And that's exactly what you're doing. So you see, you're at an icon widget. You're adding the icons pool. Remember, I see even here available in the material icons. If you type pool, you see this icon. That's exactly what we're doing. And then John is just saying that the color of that icon will be white. Let me go back to the lab, and then that's it. So he's gonna make colors white on that widget. So let me help you out. I can help you out. I can help you out there, John. So there you go, like this. So you just do colors that white, and that's exactly what John did. So John added the icon pool, and then he added the color white. So I'll bring you back again to read only. Thank you again, John. Thank you again for participating. I'm gonna save and reload. I'm gonna do a hot restart, or actually I can even reload this in like the browser, and then you can even see it. For example, here I can even see it like how it looks in Chrome. I don't have to even use like a physical device. I can even do this and like build it in Chrome. For example, check this out. Flutter run, and then it's gonna load like on a browser. So you can do like a physical device. You can test it on your browser, and it will work the same way. So now see, it's loading this like on Chrome. So I'm gonna just show you how it loads. And again, thank you, John, for participating and providing this providing the assistance. Now we're gonna be continuing on the next step, but still in step number 4. Still in step number 4, but we're gonna add the actions on that on this application. So actually, I can even copy all this and bring it into Dartpad, like I kept mentioning before. And then if I just run it, you will see what John did. He actually added an icon at the top. You see that icon at the top? That's exactly what he did. So he added an icon instead of a title. You can add a label, you can add a text label, but he added an icon so you can make it very, very cool. So let me move that over, and then you see that we can see it also even in Chrome. That's awesome. So let's continue on the next one. Here now, app bars actually have a way to add actions. Like on the right-hand side of the app bar, you can add like other things in there. So let me set someone up for that aspect. So this is how you do. In the app bar has a property called actions. And then actions is an array. And then this could be an array that you can just add like a bunch of widgets in there. You see, you can just make it as an array. And then inside of my actions array, you can add anything you want. In this case, I'm going to add a container. So I can just add a container widget, because with that container, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be wrapping like an icon in there. And then I'm going to be providing like margin for that widget. So let me show you. I think someone is like scrolling on me. That's totally fine. Let me show you. So then you add like a margin to this container. You add like margin, and then I do like edge insets only. This is how you provide like margins to your containers, and then you just provide the coordinate that you want to add the margin on. In this case, right. So I add 15 pixels on the right of that container. Then inside of that container, I need to add a child. The child will be an icon that will be shown on the right-hand side of the app bar. It will look like around here. So now I'm going to pick somebody to help me out with that piece. Let me spin the wheel and let me see. Thank you, John. Thank you so much for joining again. Totally appreciate the help. So I'm going to spin. John, it's you again, but I know that you're you're heading out. Okay, so I'll spin it again. And then I have Adriano. If you're still in line, let me see if you can contribute. So I will bring you back again. I select Adriano. Oh, Adriano, are you read write still? If so, can you add this icon? Can you add an icon widget to this container? Adriano, if you have read write privileges, can you add the icon to that container? Yes. So you can scroll all the way down. Yes. right here, Adriano, right here, when you have the, exactly. So what Adriano is going to do, I just added the container for him. And then the container is just so that, because there's no margin widget, unfortunately, but the container widget has margin capabilities. So the margin, what we're going to add is just some margin on the right-hand side. And then inside of that container, because it already has the margin, Adriano is going to add an icon inside. So he's going to add an icon that looks like this, like notifications. I think it's called notifications. And then it looks like a little bell. So he's going to be using that, and he's going to be providing the color of that widget, and he's going to make it white. Exactly. So that's exactly what we need at this point. Adriano, I think you got it. Perfect. I'm going to bring you back to make you read only. Again, thank you so much for helping me out on that piece. I'm going to format the document so that you guys now can see it. This is exactly what Adriano did. So he created an icon. I'm going to save and reload. Then if I reload right here, you will see the icon showing on the right-hand side. Let me see. Okay. Oh, sorry. I need to save here and do a hot reload. There you go. You see? So it's an icon that looks like a little bell, and then you show it at the right-hand side. Very cool. I can copy all of this. The Flutter is not on Quick-Labs, Otuya. I actually created these Codelabs specifically for you guys joining these sessions. So I custom made these labs, not from Quick-Labs, not from Google Codelabs. I made them myself. It took me a little bit, but at least it was worth it because I like the fact that you guys are joining and you're doing it on your own. And I'm forcing you to learn Flutter by forcing you to type it. That's the best way to learn Flutter, doing things repeatedly. So I hope you enjoy it. Nino says that I'm seeing on Dartpad that some lines prefer const with constant constructor. What does it mean, and is it mandatory? Yes, that is a good point. You could, for example, Flutter suggests that when you instantiate objects that are just going to render like a onesies type of object, something that is not going to render too much, you can create it as a constant. That is kind of like you caching an object so that it doesn't get re-rendered all the time. You could create it as a constant, but you can skip that for now. But I can give you, for example, more pointers on that. But you can look it up. You can look for like Flutter widget caching, and you look for that the const word. What it does is kind of like creates that widget and doesn't let you recreate it multiple times. It's kind of like reusing that widget by making it constant. So that is a very good trick. Thank you very much for that. So let's continue. Let's move along. The next step, of course, you see, if you guys are already up to this point, you will see that. Now we will create like populating the body of the scaffold with the list view. So I'm going to set you up with this piece right now in the application bar. Now we're going to be doing the body of the scaffold. Right now, the scaffold just looks like all blue. But if you want to continue, right now we're in step 5. So let me just mention we're in step 5, Codelab number 2. So now you see populating the body. So I'm going to do the container for you here in the body. I'm going to replace this whole object and I'm going to do a container. You notice me that I'm using a lot the container. Container is like one of the most versatile widgets in Flutter because it gives you like positioning, it gives you rendering, it gives you painting, it gives you and even allows you to like create like containers for other widgets as well. So container has a special property called decoration, which allows you to do like borders, backgrounds, shadows. So you use that decoration property from the container. You call it box decoration. If you look at step number 5 in the lab, and then in the box decoration, you can also apply the color. If you add the color directly to a container, then you can add it to the decoration. But if you add the color to the decoration, you can't add it to the container. So here is where you add then the color if you're using the decorator. So I'm going to say color white. And then I'm going to say, let's add some borders so that we can match our design. You see that the design has like top borders. So I'm going to say border radius. And this is one of those provisions that allows you to do that. So then you say which border radius you want to apply. I want to apply borders only at the top left and top right. So you say border radius dot only, and then you say which are the coordinates where you want those corners only. So I want to do only top left, and then you apply the radius. So you say radius Yes, the conventional method in building a Flutter app is build the design pages first and go back and add functionality. That's exactly what, pretty much what I did. If you actually have, for example, like something like Adobe XD, you could actually even use like a bunch of boilerplate code that you don't need. But Adobe XD is the way to go. So I start building the design, and then you can go and add back functionality exactly the same way that I did here. You design the whole like application exactly. Very good point. You build the application, you create like all the widgets, then you start maybe hooking it up to like a provider. You add like HTTP capabilities, you add like all those functionalities. Yes, you can do that. So this is exactly what we're doing. Building the UI first, and then you can go off again and then say, okay, now I'm going to, let's say, add more functionality. This is also a good workflow if you have a designer in your team and is a little bit like code savvy, and he can create the design and just give it to you and you add the functionality. Very good question. Thank you very much. So let me continue here. I'm going to be adding the radius, and I'm going to say circular 50, and then the top right radius dot circular also 50. And you will see now that when I add that container in the body of the scaffold and then I reload, you will see now the container filling the body, and you see those rounded corners in there. That's exactly what the border radius does. So the border radius, the container adds through the decoration property, and you add the box decoration object, you add the color, which fills up the whole body, and then the border radius gives you like those rounded corners. Perfect. So let's continue now to the next step. Now we're in step 6. Let's add the list view. So the list view is one of those widgets that gives you scrolling capabilities, and you can add like a bunch of stuff in there. Let me set you up also on how to do that. In Flutter, you also can create like models and like classes. Some of you who are proficient like in object-oriented programming, you can create like classes that will represent like your data, like the data that you render in your UI. So for that, you create like PODOs, plain old dark objects. So you create like a class with all the fields that your data is going to represent, and you can create it as a class. So I already provided this in step number 6. So I already provided those so that you don't have to type those. So I'm just going to copy paste it here for you. So I'm going to be creating a class that will represent an attraction. Remember, this is an application that gives you like the best touristic attractions in the Caribbean. So an attraction has like an image path, the name, the description, and so on. I also here provide you like a hard-coded list of those models already populated with data, so you don't have to type it either. So you can just copy that, and you can just paste it either all the way at the top or the way at the bottom, anywhere here in your application. For those of you, again, that mentioned before, like, oh, is this a bad practice to have like constants? Yes, it's because just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just gonna keep it there. But you should be able to create it like in a utilities class, create a specific service, and then you serve it from there. For now, we're just gonna keep it there, okay? So now let's go back again to our list page, because that's exactly where we're going to concentrate all our efforts. Let me go to the next step, and now we're going to be creating the list view. The list view then is what we're going to be building inside of the body, like right here in the body of the widget, is the list view. But first, we need a column. We need a widget that will allow me to line up the widgets in a vertical fashion. First, we need the list. Then we probably need like a bottom bar. But for now, I'm just gonna set you up with this. So can anybody help me now to add a column widget? Oh, the Ramses, the question mark symbol in Flutter. Flutter in Flutter 2.0, or I say 2.plus, because now we're in 2.2, they introduced something called null safety. Null safety allows you to create like your objects without having to initialize it first. And by you adding the question mark, you're denoting that this widget may be null, and at runtime, at least you won't get those errors. And then you're allowed to compile your application, and you don't have to all the time having to assign a value to it. You can leave it null. That means it's nullable because you can either take a value or can take like a null value, but you don't have to explicitly like set it to null. So this is just the question mark indicates that this property is nullable, that it could be null at some point during the application. Okay. Uh, uh, Similar to require, you say similar to require, you mean like the question mark? No, required is another type of keyword that you say that you're forcing, let's say, one parameter to exist or to be provided. Required is a little bit different than that. You actually prepend it to properties that you know you must have. It's different from the null safety availability. Yes. And thank you, David, for dropping. Perfect. Thank you, David, for dropping that link in there. So now, can anybody wants to help me with the column? So let's add the column. I'm gonna spin the wheel. Let's see if anybody's up for doing some more typing. And I hope that a bunch of people are following the collabs and even finishing it. You can drop me a +1 if you guys are finishing. Siva, are you in here? Let me see. Have you joined? No, you haven't. Sorry. I'm gonna have to try again. Another person. But I'm definitely having fun. I love the fact that all of you guys are participating. Kunal, are you connected? I thought I saw you earlier joined, but at least I know that you're. I know that you're in there. I just wanted to make sure that you were in the live sharing session. You're not. I don't see you there. I'm gonna spin it again. But I love the fact that you guys are contributing to the coding and you're learning at the same time. I see somebody already scrolling. Adriana, I think you're gonna have to go up again, man. I think you're gonna have to go up again. So I'm gonna make you read right one more time, and please help me out by adding as the child of this container a column. So again, for you guys who have again, column is one of those core widgets that allows you to build your structures. So you use columns, rows, containers. Column is one of those that allows you to add your widgets in a vertical fashion. So the column will have, as you see there, an alignment of stretch. So the column will stretch to the parent container, which is that main container. And then it's going to add the list view on top. And then it's going to use like a bottom bar at the bottom. So Adrian is going to be adding a column as the child of this container. Exactly. And then the column, again, for those of you who asked earlier, column is one of those widgets that takes more than one child. That's why it has a property called children. And then you can add more than one item. And as you add items, they keep stacking up in a vertical fashion. So he's adding the children property. We're going to keep it empty for now. And then he's going to be adding the cross-axis alignment. Cross-axis alignment means the vertical alignment. We want, that's exactly what he's doing there. So we wanted to stretch in the horizontal axis. We could do the vertical axis, but in this case, we were concerned only about that. So thank you, Adriano, for that. I'm going to bring you back to read only, and then let's continue. And thank you again. So now that after he added the column, now I'm going to be adding an expanded widget. What is an expanded widget, you ask? An expanded widget, if you guys are familiar with HTML, JavaScript, and CSS3, you've heard of like the Flexbox model. The expanded widget, what it says is take up the most of the real estate in the parent, in this case, the column, and all the other siblings, all the other children in this column will just occupy the remaining space. But if you put an expanded widget and you add a child inside of the expanded, that says, make this widget the one that takes the most of the space. In our case, we want the list view to take most of the space. Everybody else just delegate it to take whatever space is remaining, but at least it will take most of the space in this column. So that's exactly what we're doing. So in the next step, we want to add a list view. So a list view now is that widget that gives you like scrolling capabilities, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing now. So as the child of the expanded widget, we're going to be adding a list view. Let me spin the wheel now to see who's going to be adding a list view. Then I'm going to be explaining what the list view is. So list view gives you like scrolling, allows you to do like virtualized rows, which is pretty cool. Nino, are you in here? Let me see if you're available. Nino, you are. Let me bring you, make you read right. And what you're going to be building now, Nino, thank you very much again for joining. In the expanded widget, you're going to the list view. The list view widget, like I said, you can use the builder. The builder is one of those special constructor methods that is available in the list view builder that gives you like, you can create like a list view on the fly. Builder, what it means is that as you scroll, it creates the widgets on the fly, makes it very performant by using a list view builder. When you have a lot of items in your list view, you should use a list view builder. Otherwise, you can just use the regular list view container, the list view property, and just add children to it. So, wow, that was so fast. Thank you very much, Nino. You're a fast typer. That was awesome. Thank you very much, man. So I'm going to make you read only again, and I'm going to explain what Nino just did. List view builder has those attributes. Item count. Item count is the number of rows that you're going to render. And item builder is just a callback that you want to do that every time you, for each one of the items in the item count, I'm going to render one item, whatever is inside of this callback. So the callback is just the method that will render for you every item that you're going to show. And exactly what Nino just did, I'm just going to reload. And if you see this, what Nino just did, we're going to see it right here. We're leveraging, see, he already has it. And I'm already able to scroll. We can publish this application already. Yeah, that's awesome. Anyway, yeah, Masia, if you say attribute.name, exactly. I just wanted to mention this piece right here. So what Nino just did is like, we're leveraging that attraction list that I created above that has all the models. See, this is like all the attractions that we're going to be loading dynamically in our application. So by creating that, so he's actually leveraging the attraction list. He's fetching one item out of that list based on the index that the item builder callback provides you. Remember, if you have 20 items, the item builder is going to give you, per each item that it renders, is going to give you the index. So you grab that index, you pull out a model out of that collection, and then you render it in a text widget. Exactly. And name, it says can be null. Exactly. That's exactly why we have that question mark. The question mark is because it's nullable. I'm sorry, the exclamation mark is because it's nullable. And if you want to consume it, you add the question mark, the exclamation mark saying, yes, it's safe to use. Let's use it. Exactly. But it can be null. Yes, it can be null. That's right. So now let's continue with the next item. So now we're going to be building this attraction card widget. For those of you who looked at this initially, probably said, oh, Roman is downloading a new package. No, we're downloading any package. We're creating this from scratch. That's exactly the capability that Flutter gives you. You can create stuff from scratch because Flutter allows you to paint every pixel on the screen. Stuff like this, you're like, yeah, this is really hard. No, it's not hard. All you have to use is like, for example, compartmentalize your application like this, split it and break it down into the core widgets that it requires, and then you can build it like that piece by piece. So let's start working. So let's create this attraction card. I'm gonna set you up with the main widget. Remember, everything in Flutter is a widget, even stuff like this. So I'm gonna be creating, like, I can say stateless widget, and I can use like my snippet, and I'm going to be calling this attraction card. So attraction card will be a custom widget that I'll be creating, and then in my build method, I'm gonna just return right there. Like a container says like child equals null, so you can have it like that. That's totally fine. Or you can just, again, like I said, the container can just be like this. So that's it. That's the attraction card. Now, what am I going to do? I need to now this attraction card, which I'm going to be using in that list view, we need to inject the model that will populate it. And how do you do that? You create then the appropriate fields. I'm going to be creating here a field called attraction. Remember the model that I created. And then I'm going to be feeding this attraction via the constructor. I just created that attraction model, right? And then I'm going to be modifying like this attraction card constructor so that it actually takes that attraction that we're feeding into it. So like that. Sorry about that. There you go. This is that attraction. So I'm going to feed that attraction into this. I can make it just a regular constructor like that, the way that I have. So now that I have this, I go up to the list and replace this text widget by this new widget that I'm going to be creating. And remember, because what Nino did was he extracted a model out of the list that we hard coded. Now we are injecting it into each one of those widgets that we'll be creating. How do you do that? Replace this text widget by the attraction card widget, and you feed the attraction as a named parameter. So that's exactly what I just did there. So I added an attraction as a named parameter, and then I'm feeding the values into it. Now, if we go back now to the attraction card, now we can just, exactly, yeah, Nino, like we're going to be working now on this widget to further elaborate it. So let's continue. Let's spin the wheel. Let's see who's going to help me with the container now. So let's spin it. Sorry about that. So Adriano, are you up for this? If you're still up, let me add you. Let me give you read and write capabilities, and then I'm gonna let you create some of the structure in the attraction card. So in the attraction card, we're here in the container. So what we're gonna be doing, if you look at the design, we're gonna be creating this card, but what we want to do is constrain it to a given height. So what Adriano is gonna do is actually fix this container to 300 pixels. So if I scroll to the bottom, I'm sorry, Adrian, if I moved this thing for you. So we're gonna first fix the container to 300 pixels because we wanna constrain it to that height. So inside of the container, he's gonna make it a height of 300 pixels because we want all of our widgets to have the same height. While you're at it, Adriana, I'm gonna ask you to do the child of this container. So now we're gonna be adding the child of this container, which is 300 pixels, as a stack with children. While you're at it, please continue. See, like when you don't see that, that means you continue. Like you continue just going down the line. So now you're going to be adding inside of the stack a couple of children. So see, we're building the structure within the stack. So what I want to do is simulate like adding a couple of items and showing on top. In the stack, I'm going to be adding two containers. One container for the image, one container for the rest of the content. So now, Adriana, I'm going to bring you back to read-only mode. Thank you very much. You've been very helpful. And exactly as I showed you before, you see this design. So we have two containers, one container up top, one container at the bottom with all the information. And then you see that little badge in front. That's the reason why I'm using the stack, because I'm going to have the column like this, and then I'm going to add something in front. That's why I'm using the stack. So thank you, Adriana, for the help. Now that I have the two containers, now I'm going to work on the first container. In the first container, we're going to be adding a height, and then I'm going to say, make it 150 pixels. Good. Then I'm going to add now a decoration. Remember the box decoration, which is the property of the container that you can use it for shadows, for borders. You could also do it for background images. So now who wants to help me and add a background image to the top container so that we can see what it looks like? So let me spin again. Have a problem with coding in Dartpad? When I'm coding, it says not defined. Kevin and Lionel, can you ping Footstair vblog Richards to hello? Okay, Kunal, are you in there? Let me see if you are. Kunal, I don't see you, but I'll spin it again. Camilo, are you in here? I don't see you there. I'll spin it again. But again, thank you very much, guys, for joining. Sorry that you guys were not able to join the live share. Again, we're taking this as feedback for the future so that we can improve it. So truly appreciate it. Masiek, are you still there? I'll make you read all. No, I think you are already editable. Yeah, I think I left you like that. You could have just done a bunch of things in there, man. So perfect. So add now as the decoration of that container, add it as a box decoration. The box decoration has a property called image. And then image, you can set it as a decoration image. Decoration image is what allows you to add it as a background of a container. And then inside of decoration image, then you can either add the path to the image, either as an asset image or as a network image. In our case, is a network image because I'm pulling all that from the internet somewhere. So what Maciej is doing is like he's going to be pulling it out of the model that gets injected into this widget, and he's adding the image path to that widget. So now if I save and I reload, let's see what it's looking, and let's see what stay in there because we're gonna continue doing. So you see now we're able to see all the images. Now stay right there. Now Maciev, please add the fit of box fit cover to that image so I can show you what this does. So when you add the box decoration as the background of the container, and then you say fit box fit cover, this is what it does. It covers the whole screen, the whole container without losing the aspect ratio. And then you see now that the image didn't lose aspect ratio, but it filled the whole screen. So that's awesome. Thank you very much, Maciesh, for joining again. So I'm gonna bring you back to read only, and then we're gonna continue. So we're making really good headway. And then you go see we're at this point and we're making really good progress. Now we're gonna be creating, and Nino says, what happens if a URL image does not exist anymore? How long is it trying to fetch it? It gives you an error. It will immediately bark on you. It won't show anything. And it will, for example, like if you give, for example, like let me show you, for example, like if I just make this like a wrong image like this, and then I reload it and let's make believe that it doesn't exist, it just doesn't show. But you're gonna get an error like in your code. It says that, oh, the image URL cannot be retrieved. In the case that it's not available, it's just gonna show empty for you anyway. But you're gonna get that error. Thank you very much for that question. And then I'm gonna reload again, and then we're all good. Now we're gonna focus in step number 9. We're gonna focus on the bottom piece of that widget. And I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna help you out a little bit on that so that we can continue moving along. So now we're gonna be working on the bottom container. So I go to the bottom container and I do the same thing. Apply a height of 150 pixels, right? Also add some padding because I want to add some padding to the bottom in there. So I'll say, sorry about that. I'll say, I think somebody is scrolling. Padding, edge insets dot all. So I want to say add padding all around it by saying edge insets dot all, and then add a 20 pixel padding all around it. Now I'm going to continue on the next one, and I want a little bit of help in adding a row. So I'm going to spin the wheel again. Let's see who's going to help me out with the row. I know that we're going a little bit over time, but I promise that, again, we're just going to wrap this up, and then we should be good after that. Please, I encourage you to continue all these labs, but we're just going to finish up this one. Elsa Nusi, let me see if you are in here. So there you go. So I'm going to bring you, make you read writes. And please, if you can add now in this container, the bottom container, we're working now on the bottom container. Can you add a row with main axis alignment, space between, and with an empty children as a child? So I'm gonna, you can just scroll the way down, and inside of that container, add a row with the main axis alignment in between. Why are we saying main axis alignment space between? Because of this. These are two, gonna be like two, in this container, we're adding a row, and this is the row that we're doing, and we are spreading them apart by saying main axis alignment space between. So we add 2 items in this row, and they're gonna be just spread it apart by this main axis alignment. El Sanusi, let me know if you're able to type. Otherwise, I can help you out in here. Are you still read only? Is it? Oh, sorry. I think that's what it was. Sorry about that. I think you are now. Yeah. Now go ahead. Sorry about that. There you go. Exactly. So you say add it as a child actually, because container has only one child. So containers only have one child. A row again is one of those other widgets that allow you to align items in a horizontal fashion. So what El Sanusi is adding right now is adding an empty children, because we're going to be adding more children in there, and adding the main axis alignment of space between. And I'll show you what it looks like. And El Sanusi, after you finish that, would you mind doing the next? You do main axis alignment dot space between. I want you to do that, the next part. Perfect. And can you do now the next piece? What you're going to be doing inside of that children, or inside of the children of the row, is adding 2 columns inside of that. If you see the design, that's exactly how I broke it down. So it's 1 row with 2 columns inside. And that's exactly how you build your widgets. You build it by building like creating rows and columns and all that inside. Yeah, you can add it like that. We can format it in a minute, but definitely you can do it like that as well. Perfect. Awesome. So now I'm going to bring you back again, El Sanusi. I'll bring you back to read-only mode. Perfect. And thank you very much for your contribution. If you just do format document, there we go. That's exactly what El Sanusi did. And then I'm just going to bring these guys below. So what we're doing is setting up like this, the bottom structure. Now we're going to be adding some of those widgets that are required on that. Let's start working on the top, on the first column, left hand side. So I'm going to be adding here like a text widget, because we're going to be adding like the name of the attraction. So I'm going to be saying attraction, attraction dot name, right? And then I'm going to be adding some style. That's how you do style. It's kind of like doing CSS on like HTML. You like styles to a text widget. So you could do, yeah, Julian, thank you very much, man. That was awesome. Thank you so much for participating. So I'm going to be adding a text style. And then here I'll add like the rest of the information that I require on the text style, like the color, like colors.black. I'm going to add a font size of 14. It's just like, you can like CSS, like adding those things. And then I do font weight. If I want to make it bold, I do like font weight of bold like this. And then if I save, of course, if I just reload it in here, you should start seeing like some of the things just showing through. That's awesome. And then you see, it shows right there, but it shows like on top of the, you know, like on top of the image. So we're going to fix that right now. So you see, like we add the column, we added the row, and then we added that like that. You see, perfect. So now let's continue moving on so that we can add then the rest of the stuff that we need to do. So in this particular case, you see we're doing the design, and then we're adding like that, the name of the attraction right there. That's exactly what we're building. Nino says, oh, Nino mentioned that piece. That's awesome. So let's continue. You see here now that this is the top container that represents the image. This is the bottom container that represents the like the row. So let me just save. We added the, yeah, thank you, Julian. Totally appreciate your participation and just being here with us. That's awesome. So let me fix that because it's actually showing like on top of the image, right? We don't want that to happen. We want that to be like this. This children is actually not it should be part of the column. So that was the piece that I think we were missing. So let me just grab these two containers. Very simple. And then we add a column widget. Sorry about that. And then add a children, and then we're gonna add those two columns in there, those two containers. Sorry about that. Now if I reload, now we should be able to see that save. There we go, perfect. So now, can anybody help me now in adding under this text widget? I want to add this another row with a couple of labels. So let me spin the wheel a little bit here, and let me see if anybody wants to help out. So now we're pulling, okay. So El Sanusi, you're up again. Let me see if you're still on. I'll make you read right. And then now you're gonna be adding another row right in here, right underneath, let me see, where are we? Right underneath this text. So right underneath the text, we want to add a row widget because we want to add an icon and a little bit of, and a label right next to it. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Exactly where the cursor is, you're going to add a row, because if you want to position two text widgets or like an icon and a text, you have to add it as a row so that they get added like in a horizontal fashion. So now you're you're actually in the wrong one. So you can start up here, sorry, where the cursor is. Sorry about that. So right up here, right down here, like here you can say row right there. So now you're going to be adding the row that is going to add like a pin drop icon, and then we're going to be adding the label. I'm going to have you do the label as well. So first you add the row, exactly. Inside of the row, remember row takes more than one child, so you add children to the row. Are you, yeah, you still right. Perfect. So you add the children, and then you add an array of items. You're going to be adding an icon widget, which will represent like that little pin drop. And then you're going to be adding a color to that pin drop. And then you're going to be adding the size of that pin drop as well. Perfect. So you can do this also, like do enter so that, perfect, exactly. You can do enter so that you have a little bit of room inside of that row. So why don't you type now the icon? You can do the icon widget. And again, like I said, please try to use like those icon widgets from the material library because they're free, they're vector based, and they're pretty cool to use. So that's exactly what you kind of want to do over time. You know, leverage those things that are really good. So add the icon like there, and then you do like icon spin drop, and then you do that. And then the pin drop is just, again, it shows like the little location like pin. El Sanusi, sorry about that. We are in step number 9, all the way down where we're adding like the icon. So it's you know what? That's a very good feedback. I'm going to be adding numbers to the screenshots as well. So that way I'm saying we are in that step, but we want to add, exactly. Yeah, sorry about that. Very good feedback. We can take some notes on that. I'm going to be adding numbers to the screenshot so that way people know where we are. Exactly. So now that you're added, sorry about that. I think I'm scrolling on you. Sorry about that. So you added the icon, you added the fixed size, and you added the color. Now add the text widget right under that icon. I'm going to have you add the text widget that is going to be showing the location of that attraction. So is the one now right underneath it. So you're going to be adding a text widget that is going to be showing the location of that of the model. So remember, you're going to be pulling data from the model that gets injected into the constructor. So you're using, again, the nullable safety. You're saying attraction.location. Sorry about that. Is anybody scrolling, or are you scrolling? It's just right there, exactly. So right under location, then you continue adding some of the other items. Let me help you out right here. So you can continue right here. So now you can add the style for this text widget, and what you're going to be adding to the text style is the font size 12. You're going to be adding a color of gray with a little like 0.7 opacity, and you're going to make it bold as well because we want to make it bold. Exactly. So you're saying colors are gray with opacity 0.7. Let me just scroll over here so everybody can see. And then the font way, you're going to make it bold because we want it to look bold. So stay right there because I want you to help me out a little bit more. Let me save. Let me reload so that people now see what you did. See, we're already starting seeing stuff. Masia, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining. Wrong time zone. But anyway, thank you so much for joining. Truly appreciate your support. So we're almost about to finish. We're just gonna wrap up the last remaining pieces, and then we're good to go. But you see now we're starting seeing some of the content in there, and then you see exactly the same thing that we're showing. Now we're gonna be going to step 10. Step 10 will be creating a completely separate widget that will represent like that, like the star widget, like the ratings widget. So again, like what El Sanusi is doing, he's actually creating a completely separate widget, and we're going to be calling it rating widget. Remember that widgets are free. You can just create them anytime by just creating a little class that extends either stateless widgets or stateful widget. You can scroll the way to the bottom. You can just like even be right here. You can add it right here. So what El Sanusi is going to be doing now, he's going to be creating a new class. Yeah, you can create that at the bottom as well. So every time you create a new widget, a custom widget, so you either, again, extend stateless widget or stateful widget. And what El Sanusi is doing, he's just creating a brand new widget that will represent like those little stars. You can add it to the same structure, but it's good that you break up your widgets into multiple widgets, both for performance and for organization as well. Perfect. So Sanusi just like put us like a really good spot. I'm gonna bring you back again, El Sanusi, on read-only mode. Thank you very much again for your assistance. You actually put us really far behind. That's awesome. Now let's continue. So the rating widget is this widget that will have like the little stars. So how do you build that? You may have thought like, oh, I can just create like, I can just download it from the internet. Yeah, but you can create it yourself too. Let me show you how you can create it. So this rating widget, we will insert it in that spot, exactly what El Sanusi did. And all we have to do is just continue building on this widget. So inside of that rating widget, we're just going to be adding a couple more properties. I'm going to be adding an integer for the rating. Let's say you want to pass like, 1, 2, 3, whatever is in that widget. And then you need to provide it, of course, in the constructor. So you do like this dot rating, like that. So after you do that, now you know that you have to pass those values, via the constructor, right? So now inside of that row, we want to create like all these little stars, and you know that they're in a horizontal fashion. So you have to create it inside of a row with children in there. Thank you, Julia. Thank you very much. Again, this is amazing. We're just going a little bit over time, but I definitely appreciate everybody who's sticking around to just finish this piece. But again, I encourage you to continue with these Codelabs, and then you can continue on your own, and then you can build it, continue building these labs. Awesome. So I'm just going to add here like the children in here in the row, and then we're going to be adding like some of the other aspects of this. So if we still have a couple of people online, we can just finish this piece if you guys want, and then I can let you guys go. The key of this session was to actually do it together. It was not to actually complete it. It was mostly to to build this community centric environment, so we could all do like these type of events, right? Like where we all code and we learn Flutter together. So let's wrap it up here. I can just like, let's do this last piece if you guys want. I'm going to just spin one last time the wheel, and then we'll just pick somebody. So Sarah, let's see if Sarah is online. Oh, so she's not on, that's okay. Let's try again. I'm going to spin it one more time. The links for the social media, I'm going to be sharing it right in a minute. Deepa is not here. I don't think I saw her. I will definitely be dropping those links in a minute also for you guys. And actually at the end of every lab, you can just go see here in the wrap up. In the wrap up, you see like my Twitter, the YouTube, my personal portfolio, and my Medium and the LinkedIn as well. So you can do those ones right there. So Sarah, is Sarah in? Is not. So again, we're just gonna wrap it up with this last the rating widget, and then I'm gonna let you guys go. So let me see the last one. Camilo, I think you're still in. Oh no, I think you dropped off also. Okay, last one. If not, I'm just gonna finalize the last piece, and then we're gonna continue. So Kevin, you want to do the honors on the last one, or are you online, or you're not? You're not connected. You're not in the list. That's cool.
Well, I tried to connect, but it literally didn't
That's
connect.
totally fine. We can definitely take that as again as for our future.
Yeah, it's still spinning for a while.
Still spinning for you. That's a little weird. So anyway, I'm just gonna finish this one over here. Let's say if you wanted to create the ratings widget, all you would have to do is like use one of these methods from the list class that allows you to generate multiple items based on a count that you give it. And then here you provided, for example, like 5. So the list that generate needs like a count, let's say 5 stars. And then inside of that, you provided a callback. And then it will be used that for every amount of items that you add to the list that generate, it will execute that callback for you. So you pass like the index value into it. And then here you just have to say return icon. So we're going to be returning like an icon widget out of that. And then all we say here inside of that icon widget is you add, for example, like the way that you add the colors and then you add the items is like this. So I'm going to say if the index is less than the rating value, let's say if it's 3, 4, whatever, like that, the actual rating value, like the index is from 0 to 5. So if it's less than that, I know that I'm going to make sure to use the filled version of the star. So you do like icons.star. Otherwise, use the icon that has like the border version. So you do star underscore border. And then that's it. You see, and then we're returning the icon like that. And then you pass the color, and then you say like colors.yellow, for example. Yes, exactly. Great. Totally appreciate the participation. I truly appreciate it, guys. Honestly, I can't thank you guys enough for joining this session. And you see how oh, you say you joined the, oh, Siva, you joined, but I don't see you. You want to try? Oh, I see you there. You want to? I saw you. You were the last one. So let me add you here. So I'll make you read right. You're gonna be the last one. Siva. So I added you right now. Please help me wrap up. Is the first time doing coding roulette? This is the first time doing the coding roulette. That's exactly why maybe it's going a little chaotic, but it's because we wanted to get feedback and we wanted to see how, let's say, how you guys received it and all that. So, but this is the first time that we're doing this type of events. Before we were just doing regular Codelabs where you do it on your own and then I do it on my own. But this, I wanted to do it like more collaboratively. So now, Siva, if you're online, due to being declared as nullable, exactly, yes. So, yes, thank you, Sanusi. That's exactly the reason. So, Siva, if you are, Siva, did I make you? Yeah, exactly. So now all you have to do, this is all done. Now, let's go back up to here, to the rating widget, and please feed into the rating widget the rating value. Remember, I created that rating property in the constructor, and then by passing the value into the constructor, then I'm able to render like all the little stars. So if you can come back up here to the rating widget, and then you can provide the values that the rating widget requires to render, then I think we should be good. So let me know if you're able to do it. Where are you? You're down here, but I would need you right up here where it says like rating widget. There we go. Perfect. So now pass in the constructor like a named parameter in the constructor called rating, and then you pass the rating value that I hard coded for every model up top in the list that I'm providing. So all you have to do, exactly. No, yeah, James, yes, they kind of mean the same. The question is when you're defining the property, and the exclamation is when you're using it. The question mark you're only using when you're defining the nullable property, and then the exclamation is when you're using that nullable property. So you can say, you don't say it's the same, you can say different usages, but the same purpose is for the nullable properties. Exactly. Now you're going to be adding the attraction because you're going to be using the model, and then you pull the rating property out of that attraction model. And when you feed it into the rating widget, I'm going to be explaining all it does is just like renders the values that you're feeding into it. So you can finish up that piece right there. And then with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to just do a little bit more, just a couple of announcements, and then we should be good. There you go. So all you have to do there is just say attraction.rating, and then you use the exclamation marks to actually pull the value from the nullables. Exactly. I see you there. Exactly. I see you there. So you can start typing attraction, then use the exclamation mark to pull the value, and then you say dot rating. And then rating is that property that I've already hard coded for everybody so that you can just pull it in right away. You can use then the exclamation mark also to denote that this value is nullable. I can do it for you if you want. There you go. Perfect. So I'm gonna take you out of read. I'm gonna make you read only again. And again, sorry about that. That before you were having a couple of issues doing that, trying to join. But now let me show you. If I reload, you see we were very exactly. Yes, exactly. Thank you very much, Kevin. So you see now that you see the rating widget, how we were able to create it and render. That's exactly how you continue building widgets and do build widget composition. Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, James. So it's kind of like whether your value is nullable, where how you want to access that value, whether it's available or not. So with that, let's wrap it up. Please, I totally suggest you guys continue like pursuing like some of the Codelabs that I provided. They're completely free. I'm not gonna bring them down in a while, so you can actually continue doing that on your own. Again, please, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel because I'm gonna be providing more content like this. Subscribe and follow me on the YouTube channel where I'm going to be adding a lot more of these content. I'm going to have a series on Flutter. I'm going to be doing some live streaming as well. Please sync up on those things. Follow me on Twitter at drcoders. At drcoders is the handle. And seriously, thank you so much, guys. I can't thank you enough for joining the session, helping me code. A lot of those of you guys who were helping me with the coding. This is exactly what this was meant to be. So I also want to thank I want to thank each and every one of you guys who either are still here or just dropped off. Again, sorry about that. But at least I want to thank every GDG chapter that made this possible, and we brought all the communities together. So Linda, thank you. Oh, thank you. You're still there. Awesome. Thank you. Kevin, you were there. Rachel, I know some of you guys were not able to join, but I truly appreciate all the support and bringing the community together, which is what we wanted to do. So thank you so much again. Thank you, everyone. Please follow us. Please join your closest GDG chapter, because this is what makes us gives us the the motivation to continue doing events like this for the community. So with that, I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to say thank you. See you on the next one. I hope to see you all, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the session. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Roman. You're doing a great job.